going on, my Destiny dudes? So, this here is going to be a big, beefy video. I've got everything in this video content-wise that you can think of. It's got Cronus Zen setup, it's got what games work with the Zen itself so I can walk you through all that. It's also got how to adjust your Zen on the fly while you're in the middle of a match. And I have the Grid Skipper Pulse Rifle settings gameplay and Chroma Rush as well, plus the main ingredient. Alright guys, I hope you got a little bit of time for this one today, so sit back, relax, let's go do this thing together. Here we go. So, Grid Skipper, Chroma Rush, and main ingredient fusion rifle. But before I go over those, I want to talk to you guys about how I do a bit of the setup, because it seems like there's some interest in that in my comment section. So, the first thing that I want you guys to know is that after you get the Zen set up the first time, you don't need to come into the Zen app every single time. You can do it that way if you choose to do that, but you don't really need to. There's two different ways that you can set the thing up. And this is just how you start things to kind of get the settings where you see them or where you want them before you go in the game. And then you can fine tune them on the fly using your controller. And I'll show you, both of those within this video. I also have a ton of gameplay video for you guys to check out. There's Grid Skipper, there is Chroma Rush, and there is main ingredient, which is a fusion rifle. And wait till you see how far that thing can map somebody from. I've never had the giggles so bad in my life. Let's just put it that way. All right, so let's get right into this. First thing we're doing is taking our device. We're going to plug it in. Now, from there, you're going to go over to Programmer. That's the one where you program all the game packs that you want. These are the game packs that are currently available. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to scroll through these so you guys can see what's available. I'll try to go really slow, but if you need to pause the video or rewind it or anything like that, if you see one that's interesting to you, let me know. For example, I'd like to try out Borderlands. That'd be really cool. We got Battlefield 2042 coming out sometime, so that'll be really cool. We got something there. All the Call of Duties are here. The latest one with the Warzone pack. Really cool thing is they'll set you up with like a little video right here too. So for this particular one, if you wanted to see these videos, you can do that. So quick edits, fast reload, all the things that you can do with that type of mod pack. I don't know who set that one up, but that's a pretty good one. Not all of them have that. So the one we're working with is Destiny and Doom Eternal, and I have them down here already. What you would do is you would grab it and you would drag it down just like that. And I'm going to explain and go through that in a minute. So the other ones, if you play FIFA, you've got FPF Master. This one is essentially what you would do if you just wanted generalized settings. And then you could, scroll through this and go through each and every possible setting that exists within the Zen. And as you can see, there's a ton of them. Look at this. Really, really crazy stuff. So that one I haven't taken the time to figure out yet because, I guess I should, but I haven't. So anyway, Hood, I know that's one of the newer games that came out. That one's in there. MLB The Show for my man Jake. That one's in there. Mods for Beginners is my workaround for when the Destiny packs or whatever packs are not working. That's the one that I take and I put down here because it's got all the basics in it. Rapid fire, anti-recoil. Doesn't have aim assist, but that's all right. You don't need it that much. Monster Hunter, Mortal Kombat, NBA 2K21, Outriders is there. I did a video on that a little bit ago. Resident Evil 7, Biohazard is in there. Red Dead Redemption, Spellbreak. All these games are in here. Outer Worlds. So if you were interested in any of these, they're there. Turbo Max is another interesting one. If you were interested in that, that's basically to me, this is what this device is. It's basically a glorified jitter mod, right? And that was like the thing back in the day where they used to mod the controllers. This is just an advancement upon that. So here's what we're looking at with that. There's a bunch of different things in there that you guys can go through and figure out, which settings work best for you. But what we're going to go over today is Destiny, because I want to show you both how I set up the Chroma Rush, how I set up the Grid Skipper, and the main ingredient, since that's what the gameplay is all about today. Here's the Season of the Splicer pack. Put that right here, and that's going to open it up for you. Each of these has a definition for it, kind of toggled into it, I guess. So whichever thing that you have a question about, take your time and learn what these are. If you do not go through all of these and kind of take note of it when you're in game and you're having trouble with your Zen, it might be one of these things causing the problem. For example, block game rumble. You have to enable in-game vibration. The option blocks all rumble signals sent from the game, but still allows the game pack to read in-game rumble frequencies for special rumble mode support. It must be enabled. It must match. So same thing applies to this, for example, primary anti-recoil. If you do inverted on your controller in game, then you have to do inverted here as well, because I do that for the game pack. And then you can play around with it from there, what anti-recoil you want to start with. The horizontal value for Destiny, I'm not worried about that too much. That's whatever. I mean, you could play around with it when you're in game if you want, but I haven't noticed much of a difference using this too much. But this one definitely plays a role right here. So if you read what this is, it lets you know exactly what it does. And essentially it just pulls down on the right thumbstick so that when you're in game, it helps you control crazy recoil patterns. And this thing will work on anything. So worth looking at. What I would set up for the grid skipper, and in the game, I had a sidearm, the Lonesome. For the Lonesome sidearm, I usually put around 52. I tried the Season of the Splicer sidearm, and that thing was really crazy, so I took it off and put on Witherhoard. So, Jesus, forgive me. Anyway, Lonesome is a better sidearm, so if you guys have that, highly recommend using that one with Grid Skipper instead. Secondary anti-recoil, same thing. Set it up. I put the value at around 45 to 46 to start with, because then in-game, I can adjust it as I see fit. I don't do anything with heavy because you don't need to. I mean, you could probably invert, but I don't think you need to do anything with heavy. I just use a Raga Launcher, but keep it there if you want. Aim assist settings, we went over this in my last video. Essentially what these do, they wiggle your crosshair. And it tricks the game into thinking that you're constantly moving your thumbsticks so that when people run in front of you or you're tracking somebody or something like that, it gives you a bit of a heads up and tracks them for you. And that is how the game naturally works anyway. So it gives you like this little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And then as you're doing that little wiggling game from your thumbstick, it catches on the person that's running by you. And that is naturally how aim assist works anyway. It just helps you do that a little bit more quickly on your own so that you can get, you know, a little bit of an advantage. The full definition of it is right there. I tested this. I did not find these to be effective. If you guys know something I don't, let me know. There's a video that I did just testing all of these, reading the definitions of all of these, and it didn't seem like it worked all that well until I maxed everything out. But when I did that, there's like this weird circle motion that the reticle does, and it makes me super dizzy. I can't do it. It bothers me. But the normal settings are what they say to use. So I would say keep them on the lower end if you're going to use it at all. I usually just turn this off now because it kind of bothers me. And yeah, that's me. The rest of the stuff is right here. So the primary mod, the fire mods, if you want to use the grid skipper, this is a good thing to have enabled. This is the primary though, so you don't need it for primary because grid skipper is a secondary. And since we're going to use Chroma Rush, make sure to keep this one disabled for now too. You can set all this up. This right here doesn't need to be moved. This is optimal values. You don't need to do a thing with any of that. Leave it right where it is. Secondary, on the other hand, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put adjustable rapid fire. I'm going to leave it at 8. Leave it right there. I just want this as adjustable. You can also put dynamic, totally fine. Between these two, that's how you get your what do you call them, pulse rifles to be fully automatic in game. Those two right there. So either one of those would work for you. Then coming down here, heavy fire mod. This is a good one. When does it activate? Do you want it to fire instantly, whether you're ADSing or not? Or do you want it to only fire while you're holding down ADS, which it means aim down sights, or let's say ADS blocks the mod. So if you were to fire or aim down sight, then it would not kick in. So you can choose which of these you want, which is really cool. I just put fire instantly. Doesn't matter if I'm ADSing or not, just fire the thing. That's what I'm wanting it to do. Now for a weapon like there's a sidearm that does a different mechanic. If you basically hold down the trigger, it'll fully auto, but then if you reload it, it freezes the target after you shoot it. That one right there might be a good idea to have this set up differently. So while holding down ADS, it'll rapid fire. When you let go of ADS and just fire from the hip, then you can fire the frozen shots. So there is some applications for using this with certain sidearms in the game of Destiny. There's another one, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a sidearm as well, an exotic one, the Devil's Ruin, I believe. This would be super effective at that as well. All right, so active shot mods, jump mods. I don't do anything with these. Auto melee, you can turn that on. It's okay. It's not the end all be all, but it's all right. Do not use auto reload every time you finish firing your weapon reloads. That's horrible. Quick swap, from what I found, it doesn't work. So unfreeze, yeah, stay away from that. No need to use that one anymore. AFK mode, same thing. If you're AFK playing a game, why are you playing it? Like, get out of the game, dude. I mean, I understand some people do that because they don't have time for certain things. They set it up so that they can get rewards. I think that's horrible. Stay away from that. Auto sprint is pretty cool. Press sensitive. When you slide, this is really cool to have. And this is something that you guys are going to have to play around with on your own. What I found is that after you do a slide, it kicks you right back into sprinting. That's a really nice thing to have. So it'll make you, slide will make you constantly slide if your left stick is pressed over 90%. I'm going to go ahead and stay away from that. So press sensitive, that might be a little bit of a better option. And then always on, that's probably the most consistent one. The other two you're going to have to play around with. All right, that is it. Now, I also have Doom Eternal right here. The reason I have that is because every now and then the Destiny Season of the Splicer pack goes a little haywire. So I have this one here as a backup mod so that I can use it in game if I need it. This is basic stuff and it will work in Destiny. So this is my workaround for when this one isn't doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's got anti-recoil and it's got aim assist with the values of the old aim assist, which is 1 through 100. So you can play around with that and see what works for you. And then it's also got the adjustable fire, which is rapid fire mods. It's got the other stuff like the auto melee, which you can use. Auto chainsaw, that's awesome. And a few other things. Hair trigger, if you don't have the elite controllers or the, I forget what the other ones are, but if you don't have the controllers that have the adjustable, customizable triggers, then this might be a good thing for you to have to enable. Essentially, all it does, it's 10% of the pressure when you slightly pull down, it'll fire at 100%, which is pretty cool. So after you're done with all of those, you hit your save button, looks like a home plate, that'll program your device. It's going to say right here, saving it to the device. And then from there, you can take it, hook it up to your Xbox, and get into the game. I'm going to show you, oh, hello, did we get an error? I wonder why we got an error. Let's try again. All right, if we get an error, that's actually a good thing. We can go through how to fix that right now. Okay, so check it out. We got an error code. I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to hit the bottom on the button of the Zen for right there. Device was removed, but some game packs were not programmed. Modifications were not saved. All right, I'm going to unplug my device. There we go. I'm going to plug it back in. All right, so it didn't save any of my settings. That really sucks. It saved this part, of course. So then if that happens, you'd have to go through it all over again. But luckily, I have these two saved from last time. So I'm going to delete that one. Let's see if it works now. So yeah, you'd have to go through the whole thing all over again. And it should save this time. We're waiting for the thing. If it does not, that means we're going to have to make a much longer video and go back into the firmware. Done. Success. Okay, so we're good to go. We don't have to go back into the firmware. All right, that's it for this part of the video. I'm going to show you how to adjust it on the fly while you're in game, and then I've got a bunch of gameplay video for you guys. Be right back. In this part of the video, I'm going to show you guys what you can do with your Zen when you turn it on, and how to basically turn it off, and how to adjust settings and mods while you're in the middle of a game. So this is currently connected to the Xbox. You can connect it to your Xbox, your PS4, PS5. Now, in order to turn the thing off, it's going to be left trigger, and then whatever those two buttons are right there. It's not the three lines, it's the two window-looking buttons. That turns it off, and that turns it back on. In order to get into the mod menu, hold down left trigger and hold the three lines. Now you'll see this is the mod menu. Using your D-pad, you can go up and down, whichever one you want. Usually we're working through the adjustables, so hit A, and what we're looking at there is the primary recoil, anti-recoil right there. So that's the primary one. Down below that is horizontal. That's the secondary anti-recoil. and horizontal for that, and then your heavy weapon. Aim assist strength values are just below that. This is also the season of the Splicer pack. I think that was obvious, but you know, maybe need to mention it. And then that's really all you need to worry about from there with those particular adjustables. So hit B to save it. Now, if you want to go back into the mod menu, for example, because you want to disable rapid fire, when we use Chroma Rush, this is what we do. Green thumb if you want to change out your stick layout. I don't want to do that, so I went back. Going down, you'll notice the different types of mods that are currently disabled and active. So your inverted is enabled, right? That's what we want. Now, what I want to do is take off the rapid fire when I use Chroma Rush, and then hit the save button, which is B. All right, that's how you do the long and the short of it for in-game. Hit the B button to save it, and let's go play. All right, here we are, getting into a game real quick. Now, this is me using the grid skipper, and I was going to use a sidearm. I decided against it because I really wanted to show off the grid skipper instead of the sidearm. The sidearm itself is really amazing, but it's got a lot of recoil. So, it's one of those things that after I started using it a little bit in one of the games, I realized that's all I wanted to use. And I also started to change the recoil values in-game, and I would just kind of realize, well, this is supposed to be a grid skipper video. Let me get rid of this thing. So I changed it up on the fly real quick, and I put on the Wither Horde, because I'm dirty. So, Wither Horde, there we go. That's the anti-recoil value right there at 45 for the grid skipper. All right. Getting into the game real quick, we've got Iron Banner going on right now. Grid skipper 45, rapid fire enabled, and it is dynamic rapid fire at 6. These are just some of the gameplay clips that I got of the grid skipper. It is a melt machine. The perks matter. So I've got multi-kill clip, I've got speed enough. I also have a few recommendations. You can get the firmly planted where you crouch down and it gives you more stability. That is an amazing perk to have in the weapon. So basically slide around the corner, crouch down, yeah, you'll get a lot out of it. Something to look forward to getting for this particular seasonal weapon. Look for that. Yeah, I saw the guy pop the super note down there. No thanks. So, next we have the Chroma Rush that's coming up, and I've also got the main ingredient. But I still have plenty of gameplay footage for you guys to check out with Grid Skipper. I do play against a pretty decent team here in a little bit. Some of these guys are really, really good.
Let the wolves hunt.
You'll notice that they definitely tank angles and quarters really, really well, and they definitely apply pressure together as a team. I do okay getting out of some tight situations, but I mean, when I'm trying to show off gameplay footage, I try to get in as many one-on-ones as possible, so I'm not hiding around corners. You see, I'm getting in the open to engage people so I can 1v1 them in the open, so you guys can see what this thing can do. That's my goal when I do these types of videos. Sometimes the gameplay doesn't come out great, other times it comes out really, really good. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I'm going to let the gameplay footage kind of play itself out here, and for each part of these, I'm going to put the finalized settings that I figured out that were best for the weapons, at least with the perks that I have on them. The perks that you're looking for with any of these weapons, you want to have kill clip on either of them if you can, because that is a damage boosting perk. So multi-kill clip is really good. Anything that involves like more damage out of a pulse rifle, you want that on the Chroma Rush. If you get kill clip on Chroma Rush with something that reduces sway reduction, man, you can really light some people up with that. I was having a good old time with that earlier. And then the last and the final one is main ingredient. So, big thing to remember with fusion rifles is to take off any and all dynamic fire mods. There is a bug that goes on with the Chronos where if you have on the rapid fire mods, sometimes there's a bit of a switch between the two settings. And that's not what you want to happen in the middle of a match when you're trying to fire a fusion rifle and just sit there sticking speed because it won't go off. It's horrible. So instead of doing the fusion rifle with a pulse rifle, which is what I had originally tried to do, I don't do that anymore. If I'm going to run it any kind of way, I run a pulse rifle, but not rapid fire. Or I run an auto rifle, same thing, you can't run the rapid fire with an auto with a fusion, and I end up having some pretty good games. Works with hand cannons as well. If you guys wanted to try something like that out, you have a decent combination of weapons that you can use with these game packs. Alright, so I will again put up the settings for every part of these things so you guys can see what they are, what they look like. Thank you so much if you made it this far. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And that's really all there is to it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for hanging out on my channel for a little bit.
Zone C captured.
See you in the next one.
Zone A captured. You have the advantage. Press on. Opponent claimed Zone B. No reward is as
amazing! 5 minutes remain. Minutes. Move in and take those zones. They are your life. Enemy claims Zone C. Zone B captured. You have zone advantage. I love it. down. Now you're fighting with heart, Guardian. Strength in numbers, Guardian. Excellent. Captured Zone C. Power play. Keep the pressure on. Zone B lost. I've seen enough. I'm calling this one. Victory is all I ask. Good.